Now I'm getting a hand installing the backbone system from my friend Mark, so now all I got to do is just wait for him to arrive. Okay, so for the first step, we got to put on the side racks here, and this is what they call the backbone system. And what this does, it gives it strength because this is just a fiberglass top. With all that weight on top of the roof, if we didn't have this metal here, it would actually crush eventually. So this is going to give it some support. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I love the looks of that too. So this is the part that I'm dreading, but I am going to push the backbone system like that, and now I'm going to drill straight through. Get my vacuum and suck that all up. So the awesome thing about the backbone kit is it gives you a template for all the tools that you need to put this thing together. Now we got all the tools in a spot on the template. So once we follow the directions, it's going to tell us each step that we got to do and what piece that we need. The next step we got to do is silicone these holes so no water gets in when it's raining or through the winter. Now we install the first bracket. Mark is going to put some screws in this way. Got the inside washers in. Now the outside washers are here. And then I have these nuts. Which are the nylon nuts. So Mark is going to screw it in on the outside, and I'm going to hold it in the inside. We're going to do the left one first. Okay. So now the next step is to use this jig in order to space the difference between each side. This will go right underneath that. Let's clean that up. Now we gotta know is it 11 up or is it 6.5 up? We gotta know which side it is.
No, but I need the nut first there, yeah. So that one there, I just gonna make sure we have everything lined up here properly.
We're gonna use a 6mm drill bit to drill in these holes. We're gonna use this spacer for a pilot hole. And we're through. Now we're going to change this drill bit out to an 8.5mm drill bit. You do the 6mm first to do the angle. Now we're doing the 8.5mm. Now we can undo that top bracket and clean everything up before we silicone. We're going to now repeat the silicone process. This last part is a little bit different. Instead of drilling sideways, we're going to drill straight down. Now for spacing, the last time we used 6.5 on this. We're going to use 11mm this time. Put it through the back end that way. And now what we got to do is drill down instead of in. Okay, now for this hole, we're going to use a pilot shaft to drill down. And we're not going to drill all the way through. We're going to go through the first piece and then we're going to change out the bit.
It says go 90 to make sure it's nice and flush, go right through it without no shank. Then once you've done through the first layer, then we're going to add that there, and that's going to stop you from going through here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we go here.
So we're only going to go through one layer with this. Good. Good. So now that we've got these first holes drilled, you put your bracket back on and these shanks go through the holes that we just drilled. Now we'll drill down through the first piece, or the second piece I should say, Take those shanks out, and now we'll use the big shank. So now we're just going to seal this up really good with the silicone. Because this is on top rather than the side, we're just going to add a little bit extra because the water will sit on top. So we put the shanks into the bracket and sink this into the roof. Now I take this piece and I install it inside the tube. Is it completely? So the next step is, once we get it mounted to the roof, you take off these little lock panels here. You take this bolt with the washer, and you're going to need an open end wrench for this. We're going to put that in there, and we're just going to bolt this into place. And this is what it looks like when it's all bolted. And the final piece of the puzzle is to add this crossbar to the top. You're going to see these two holes in the top and one slotted. So you put the slotted spot down, you take the Allen key, the black Allen key that you get with it, and just tighten it up. Do that at the front and the back, and you do that on both sides. Final look on the inside. Looks pretty awesome. Now let's look at the outside with the tent on top. So this is how I installed the rack onto the tent. So we got the tent upside down, and the mounts go in to this slot as well as this slot. Here are the mounts here, and what I did is I went out and got 1.5 inch bolts, drilled through in the center there and lined them up perfectly. Put a brace bar across, 2 washers, and then 2 nylon nuts. Then, once I get some help, I'm going to attach this back onto that track, and then I'm going to tighten everything up. Final step before complete installation, I got to put that rack onto this tent. So all the final preparations are complete to install my tent. Let me show you exactly how I installed the tent to the rack. I went to these numbers here, picked a number, and just drilled on each side for my bracket. I chose 69 at the back. That way I got a little bit of overhang, but not too much. And then I put a crossbar, 2 washers, and then 2 nylon nuts through grabbing the bolts. I then put the shower bracket on, and then the second bracket for the rack, because you can't put this on this side of the rack, you don't have enough room. Look at how this shower, ensuite shower, is installed. It doesn't come with instructions, so I figured I would show you guys how to do this. There's the second set of bolts. That one I believe I did on 62. There's the other ensuite bracket. Come around to this side. As you can see, it rained last night. Very important not to forget but to install your ladder rung. One thing I should point out is if you get the awning, your ladder should be on the same side as your ensuite. That's how you're going to get in and out of the tent when it's on top of the tent. So now I'm just waiting for a few guys to come on over, and we're going to install it on top of my Jeep.
Straight up like this, or are we going flat? We're gonna go like this. Go flat. Right. By you. Yeah, it's going on there. Okay, so this is the front here? Yeah. Okay, let's turn around. You guys come this way.
Thanks. That's all the confidence I needed.
Did you hear what my husband said? All bear. Oh, that was funny.
If you want to get a boom on a wall. Okay. I'll go over there. You guys good?
Nope.
I knew that.
I'll put 6 bolts in.
Oh, that's
Probably on
cool.
struts. Yeah, probably struts.
Nice.
So 2 comfortable with a ladder. I just need a... Nice. So your ladder side.
I think it's on this side.
Yeah, just grab this. Alright.
That's neat.
They're on the back.
Make sure you go to the washroom before you go up there, John.
No, just stand and hang over the edge.
Might be easy for John. I'm not sure about Tracy. Up we go.
I don't like that.
He's off.
I don't have my bag.
So that's
Oh, this
yeah,
nice.
they are.
Wow.
Well, it depends what manufacturer, right? Ours was on a burner end. This is soft.
Oh, yeah, it's rocky.
Now let me.
You have your measuring tape, real quick?
Yeah.
You have it still? I'm just curious to see how wide it is.
But that's a good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there is. Ours fit us both and the dogs.
Yeah.
Our other one was so thin. I had to keep storing. Well, he has.
Oh, no. The depth
But we
is
had
fine.
to put the sleeping bag up on top and take it out every single time out of
Yeah,
the
no,
tent.
that is a little bit.
So when I found out there was a deeper one, I'm all like,
Yeah, no, and Mark was saying that we have the ability to use that dimension.
yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, that's amazing. He's
His tent is 1 inch wider than ours.
Is it?
Yeah. The one that I got coming?
How about this one?
Yeah, but don't forget, like he's a bigger guy than you too. Right?
Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate that.
Well, no, I'm just saying it makes a big difference.
Stop tent on, and we're going for our very first overnight adventure down at Rose Beach in southern Ontario. Yeah. So we kind of got here a little bit late. It's almost 8:30, and it's in the camera it looks light out, but it's pretty dark. But we're going kayaking for the next 20 minutes or so. This is our first night down at the beach. We're only down here one night, but we're gonna make the best of it. Got the fire going, you can hear the water in the background. And we're gonna be sleeping in the quick pitch tent tonight. So we got kayaks underneath the Jeep. And we're just going to go up for the first time into our quick pitch rooftop tent. I'll let you know in the morning how comfortable it was and what our night was like. 6 o'clock in the morning. I just had my first night in the Jeep rooftop tent. I see there's somebody already out on the water. Man, it poured out here last night, but I didn't get wet at all. Time to make some coffee. Nothing like waking up to a beautiful sunset. I've got my orange juice and my raisin bran. I'm sitting back and just enjoying the scenery. So that's the end of our first night in the rooftop tent. It was very peaceful last night, but it did rain a little bit. But we were quite dry in the quick pitch tent. Really enjoyed it. I woke up this morning to all kinds of black flies, which were an absolute pest. So I'm glad to get out of here now and go home and do some hills, some off-roading with the London gang. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again real soon.